Thank you, esSENSE Global Bangalore unit, for giving me an opportunity to discuss the Endosulfan tragedy of Kasaragod as well as various other topics regarding farming. First, we will discuss about the Endosulfan tragedy of Kasaragod, exposing the false narrative. The narrative present in the society is that because of the Endosulfan spraying in Kasaragod, in the cashew estates of Kasaragod, a lot of health issues has happened. First, we will look into the historical aspects of it. Plantation Corporation has 4 divisions in Kasaragod, around 5,000 hectares of total area, and another 340 hectares plantation in Mannarkad region. And ground spraying was done till 1981, and from 1981 to 2000 December, aerial spraying with helicopter, aerial spraying of Endosulfan was done, and initially 3 times a year, later on 2 times a year. This is the map of it. 11 panchayats in Kasaragod are having these cashew estates near the panchayat. And during aerial spraying, the stipulation is that from the crop canopy, 3 to 5 meters above the crop canopy, the spraying has to be done. But actually, there were casuarina trees and other big trees, tall trees, and also power lines are going on. So they could spray only 20 meters above the crop canopy. So that will be giving lot of drift from the target area to slightly other areas, maybe 20-30 meters away. And there should be rational rotation of insecticides. After one insecticide, we have to use another insecticide. That is a usual pest management principle, but that was not done. Same insecticide, Endosulfan, was used for the 2 rounds of spraying, and then in the next year again, after in a lapse of 10 months. And water resources should be covered, especially drinking water resources like wells and wells especially. Initially it was not done. Later on, the Plantation Corporation gave thatched leaves, coconut leaves or polythene sheets for covering the wells. Endosulfan was developed by Hext in 1956. Until 2001, it was used by European Union. Around 60 years, this was used by European Union, and also all over the world, around 120 countries. And this was the largest selling generic pesticide, involving 30 crores of rupees at that time. And India was the largest producer after the elapse of patent. After lapse of patent, anybody can produce it, no? Anybody can produce it. So India was the largest producer and earning very good amount of foreign exchange. And the original producer, manufacturer, original person, a company will not get any amount after that. So it was not their baby, though it was their baby, that baby will not bring money to them after the lapse of the patency. And toxicology, if you look at like any other pesticide, at a diluted way, this will be killing the insects only. It cannot kill any human being, or it cannot make any genetic issue in a human being. The pesticidal principle is like that, because you are using different types of pesticides to kill your household pests, no? And to ward off mosquitoes, we are using in our bedroom. That will be affecting them only. It will not affect us. And the waiting period is 7 to 10 days, and it was recommended to be applied on vegetables and fruits, around 100 crops. And persistence in tropical waters is 20 days, and it is banned in some of the cold countries, in Germany and some other countries previously, because in the soil in the cold countries, this will be standing for around 6 months or so. So it was banned in such countries. But in a tropical situation, in our soil, this will stay for 10 to 12 days only. By the time that will come down below 2 ppm, 2 parts per million, and that is a safe limit prescribed, maximum residue limit prescribed for fruits and vegetables. And tea, every day we consume tea, and in tea, the MRL value prescribed is 30 parts per million. That is a MRL value prescribed in tea decoction. And if you look at DDT and BHC, it is 0.01 ppm. Had it got any biomagnification property, that will not be, nobody will fix at a higher ppm of 30 value, 30. Because DDT and BSC have biomagnification property, and the value fixed is very, very low. So endosulfan is not biomagnifying in a human body. It will be biomagnifying in an aquatic environment, and that too at the polar regions only, in the cold waters. Then in Kasaragod, whether the pesticide load was higher, that was the next question. So in Kasaragod, if you are taking anywhere, if you are taking one crop of rice, around 1.5 liters of pesticide we may use. And if you are taking 2 crops, 3 liters, and 2 crops of rice and 1 crop of vegetables, around 4.5 liters of pesticide will be used per hectare per year. And in tea, how much we are using? 17 kilograms. Now that much intensive application of pesticides in tea to protect the new flushes, and we are taking tea every day. And in cardamom plantations, around 85 liters of pesticides were used in cardamom plantations in Idukki and Wayanad, etc. Because cardamom have thrips pest, and to manage it, very large quantity of pesticides are used. Whereas in Kasaragod, it was used only at 1.34 liters per hectare per year. Only that much, 1.34 liters per hectare per year. And on an average, Kerala consumes around 600 grams of pesticide per hectare per year. The allegations are that, the allegation started in 1998, and the allegation was that there are widespread health issues in the areas around the plantations, and ecological impact was that there are no honeybees. Previously there was honeybee cultivation and people were taking honey, and after the spraying there was no honeybees. All these type of pictures appeared in all the media. The media was very active about it. They were showing all these pictures and ascribing it to endosulfan without evidence. That was the type of journalism Kerala media did for years together. Even now they are doing it without evidence. They don't require any evidence for telling that this is due to endosulfan. Whereas in science, for everything we have to have evidence. So lot of pictures like this. This fellow was born in 1979, before the spray of endosulfan started. And 2 years before the spray, he was born, and I went to his house 2 or 3 times. His house is located around 4 kilometers away from the plantation corporation estate. 4 kilometers away. Even then, this is quoted as an endosulfan health tragedy. Various other pictures, Everybody will be very much bothered about this. If you are seeing a picture like this, immediately you will think that whether such a thing will happen to my child. Because visual impact is so strong. Immediately we will be thinking like that only. There are a lot of pictures. You can see all these pictures. These pictures are taken from the site of Tunnel, which is an NGO headquartered in Trivandrum. They were spreading this information, stating that all these impact is due to endosulfan. endosulfan spray. Different types you can see. In some cases there is hydrocephalus, the head is growing, and in certain cases is cerebral palsy. The whole boy or girl cannot lift their head or body, just idle like a vegetable. And then skin problems, body problems, all these are, everything is ascribed to endosulfan. Now some studies about endosulfan happened in Kasaragod. First study was done by Center for Science and Environment, New Delhi, headed by Sunitha Narayanan, and at that time it was Agarwal. They have taken samples of human blood, water, everything from that area, and they have analyzed it in IIT Kanpur laboratory by Dr. Padma Vankar, and you can see the quantity of endosulfan found in the blood of the people. Human blood 108 ppm, in the human blood 196 ppm. In the blood of Dr. Mohan Kumar it was 115 ppm of endosulfan. Live frog 10.3, cashew 3.4. And if you look at the review of the literature, you can find that the content in the blood of persons who consumed endosulfan for committing suicide, in their blood it was only 4 ppm to 8 ppm, and in another case it was 2.9 ppm only. Forensic Journal of Clinical Toxicology. So how it's one of the wonders that a person with this much quantity of endosulfan in the blood is still living very healthily in that area. Dr. Mohan Kumar and others. Means the residue analysis is an utter blunder, Himalayan blunder, but the Center for Science and Environment is not agreeing to it. They are still holding these values true. And there are many studies conducted about endosulfan issue in Kasaragod, different commissions. Kerala Agriculture University conducted 2 studies. In both of the commissions I was a member, and we were the first to do a study. We have taken water, soil, cashew and other samples from that area. In water samples, pepper berries, betel leaf, there was no residue of endosulfan 51 days after the spray was conducted. Last spray was in 2000 December 26, and we have taken the samples on February 19th, 2001, 51 days after, and we could not get any residue in water, pepper berries and leaf, and in soil it was, because in soil it will be holding, it will be attaching to it, and then the degradation will be slightly lower. So in soil 0.05 to 3.8 ppm, and cashew leaves slightly 0.5 to 0.8 ppm. So it is not in water, then it cannot enter into human system. By inhalation it can enter during the time of the spray, but that will be immediately degraded, because all over the world millions of farmers are spraying millions of liters of different types of pesticides, and the health issues are very rare, very rare health issues. If one is exposed to some chemicals again and again, then there can be some issues, immediate poisoning issues will be there. But otherwise people are spraying, but no issues happen. Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishat did a study, and I was also a member of it. We have conducted health survey around the plantation, in the villages around the plantation, and we have divided the area into area A and area B. In the area A, Chimeni, Panatur, Rajapuram, Periya, Kotur and Muliyar, this much number of houses. The disabilities are different types of locomotor, hearing, visual, mental disabilities are almost near to the Kerala average. Because in all over Kerala, all over the world, there are disabilities. Disabled people are there. Mental and physical disabled people are there. And the prevalence is not high in all these areas. Except in Enmagaje, where the prevalence is slightly higher. I was also there when we have gone to Enmagaje. We were two teams, and one team were taken by the activists into the houses of people alone, disabled people alone. We have gone to all the houses. So in our survey, it was almost nearing to Kerala average, whereas the other survey team, they have gone to selected people, selected houses led by the activists. So in their case, it was slightly higher. Achyutan Commission, instituted by the government of Kerala. Achyutan Commission said there are reports of health problems from 3 Grama Panchayats adjacent to plantations. Only 3 Grama Panchayats at certain. There are reports, and there is no evidence to completely agreeing to it or deny it. So Achyutan Commission said there should be a detailed health survey. My question is, Achyutan Commission should have done the health survey. Rather than recommending for a health survey, they should have done the health survey. Then for once and for all, the problem should have been solved. But instead of doing it, they recommended for it. Then I asked Achyutan sir, why did you do like this? Then he said, there was strong pressure from the government to submit the report immediately. And K.R. Gauriyamma, who was the agriculture minister at that time, told Achyutan sir that they will be conducting an epidemiological survey with the help of medical students from Periyar Medical College as well as Kozhikode Medical College. They will do it. That we will do it. You just submit the report. That was a confirmation given to, assurance given to Achyutan sir. So Achyutan Commission did not do it. Had they did it, that would have solved the all the issues regarding to it. But they didn't do it. Then next study was conducted by National Institute of Occupational Health, Ahmedabad. The National Human Rights Commission recommended the ICMR to do it, and ICMR instructed NIOH to do it. And they have compared 2 villages. One was Padrai and the other was Minja. Minja Panchayat is around 25 kilometers away from the Padre village. Padre is near to Plantation Corporation Estates, and Minja is around 20 kilometers away. But the issue with the study is that they are comparing only 2 villages. 2 villages, one was near to the estate, the other was away. But how can we say that 2 villages are equal in all the indices of health, except for endosulfan exposure? There won't be any village like that, no? The village health indices are influenced by access to health, the education status, the economic status, and various other factors will be influencing all these. So just by comparing 2 villages, one cannot come to a conclusion. Can never be. That is what I said. At least 5 sprayed villages and 5 unsprayed villages should be compared for all the health indices. Then averages should be compared. That is the basic of any statistical analysis. Averages should be compared, not the raw data. But NIH compared the raw data. Raw data comparison should not be done. And NIOH also analyzed the blood residues of endosulfan. Endosulfan residue in blood as well as in water. In water, they have done 0.0062 ppb. That is written, you can see. Their machine's accuracy is 1 ppb. And they are reporting such a value, 0.0062 ppb. How can they report such a value? They should have reported below detectable level, BDL. Instead, they did it. All this because these doctors do not have the expertise in doing pesticide residue analysis. All these are areas which require very high expertise. residue analysis of any kind require very high expertise. They don't have it. So that is why Padma Banker of IIT Kanpur or NIOH people are committing such mistakes, big mistakes. So in their study, the endosulfan content ranged from 2 ppb to 63 ppb. Whether this is sufficient to cause any disease in human beings, what does other literature say? If you look at, there are various studies which shows that endosulfan can be there in the blood of people from 42.6 ppb in one study in Coimbra University, Portugal, and agriculture workers of Almeria, Spain, where massive cultivation of vegetables are done in the Spain, 5.5 to 20 ppb, and in another case in Spain 6.62, and in Almeria 2 to 14 ppb, and in southern Brazil, southeast Brazil, 63 ppb is already found in the blood of people, but this is subclinical. This much endosulfan content in the blood cannot make any health issue. This is subclinical value. But in Kasaragod, 63 ppb was present, and that was showing all type of health issues. How can it be correct? These are the references of it. These are the recommendations of the NIOH. And finally, Dr. Saeed from NIOH, he was a chief investigator. He published a paper, and the paper said that the sexual maturity value rating of the teenage people in the sprayed area was slightly less compared to the control area. That was a final output of the entire study, because when we conduct a study, we will be publishing a paper. So the paper said that the sexual maturity was slightly delayed in the exposed group, and they said that they will be doing another research to know whether it was corrected or not later, but they didn't conduct a further study. So the entire impact, one can say, is that the sexual maturity was slightly delayed. That's all as per Saeed. Now, Calicut Medical College, they conducted a study in 2010. Just to see a pesticide which will be degrading within 10 days in an agricultural ecosystem in a tropical condition, and the study was conducted 10 years after. 10 years after. You just see the relevance of it, the pertinence of it. And they submitted the report to the government of Kerala on 19/2/2011. 19/2, then February 19th. The date is very important, just check. And I have gotten a document based on RTI application. That RTI says that they don't know about 2 reports submitted by their researchers. They have 2 reports were submitted by their research. This is the actual report, and another report was also submitted to the press just before the Satyagraha by V.S. Achyutanandan, then the then Chief Minister of Kerala, V.S. Achyutanandan. Just one day prior to it, they have given out a report to the press with only 15 pages. Only 15 pages. And the original report contained 55 pages. How can there be such a difference? I was also a member of different commissions. We will make an executive summary of the entire report, 1-page summary, and then full report. There are no 2 reports in any case. But here, the Calicut Medical College researchers, the research team was headed by Dr. Jayakrishnan. They have submitted 2 reports. So this is a CMC study with 15 pages. So 2 types of reports. And you can see the contents of the report. Here you can see one is 55 paged, the other is 15 paged. In the 55 page report, you can see the 5th column. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4th column has some report, mentally disabled, some issues, healthy, like. And the other report, that column is blank. Means there is no corroboration between the content of endosulfan in the blood of people and their health issue. There is no corroboration. So the best way is to delete the entire column. So the issue is solved. So this is how they did it. This is not scientifically ethical. And then they have suppressed a table in the 15-page report. So we have taken, by RTI, we have taken both the reports, and you can see that in certain cases, some of the issues are higher in Muliar, which is a sprayed area. In some of the cases, the diseases are lower. So it's like any other two villages. There will be some higher and some lower in any village. So that way only. But that table was suppressed. Then residue analysis. They have found endosulfan even after 10 years. Usually, if endosulfan enters into our blood, within 20 days that will be completely expelled. Through urine, through tears, through sweat, everything will be completely degraded and excreted out. Here, after 10 years, the endosulfan is present in the blood of people. That is what their residue analysis says. So, showing all these, I have published a paper in Current Science, and for which there was no reply or response from the researchers of Calicut Medical College even after 12 years. Even after 12 years, I would say. Actually, as per scientific ethics, one should respond to criticism within 2 years. One should respond. That is the International Scientific Ethics Committee say, but they didn't do it. Then medical camps were conducted 10 years after in the endosulfan area, endosulfan sprayed area. So and there was massive propaganda that once you enter into the list of people affected by endosulfan, your life will be saved. Throughout the life period, you will get all the financial assistance as well as medicines. So there was people thronging before the medical camps, and 2 medical camps in each Grama Panchayat, and finally Apex medical camps. And totally 26 medical camps were conducted, and I have got all the information from the medical camps, and I have analyzed it and found that all types of diseases in the sprayed area is equivalent to or lower than Kerala average. Kerala average only we can compare, no? So it is not different. Like any other village in Kerala, they also have issues, which is not higher. Usually for any case, there will be two indices. One is prevalence. What is the number of patients per 1 lakh or per 10,000? The other thing is incidence. How many people have got the disease in a particular time, say within a month or within a year. So 2 indices are there for any disease. So the prevalence, if you look at, there are no higher prevalence for any of these diseases. Cerebral palsy, it is there in those villages as well as in Kerala, and it is not higher. Then different types of syndromes. Syndromes is an expression of the chromosomal aberrations, and here syndromes are also not higher. And then different types of cancers. Cancers are attributed to endosulfan in Kasaragod, but no study says that in agriculture use of endosulfan will result in cancer. There are no studies because endosulfan per se is not carcinogenic. But cancer is attributed due to endosulfan in Kasaragod, but we have compared, and cancer is not higher in Kasaragod compared to Kerala average. This is Enmagaje alone. Enmagaje alone also, if you look at, it is not, the incidence is not higher. Then there was another health survey conducted, national program for the rehabilitation of the disabled. The Kasaragod district, Kollam and Trivandrum, Kasaragod, Palakkad and Kollam. door-to-door survey. I have collected the information by RTI and I have compared. Here also it is not higher in Kasaragod region. 2001 census data, that also shows that there are no higher incidents in Kasaragod. In census data there is an issue. We will get district averages only. Raw data they will not give. So district average data, if you compare, it is not higher in Kasaragod. Again 2011 census, it is not higher in Kasaragod. And then I have gathered another data, that is Vikalanga pension, that is financial assistance to the mentally and physically disabled persons. Government is giving financial assistance. I have collected that information and compared between the sprayed as well as unsprayed Grama Panchayat. There are no higher incidents. It is like any other village, it is distributed. Per population, it is not higher in the sprayed village. No pattern is seen. No pattern is seen. Then, are there such disabled persons all over Kerala? Are there news reports? If you look at, this is Amarambalam in Malappuram. The news report says that the entire village is in an anxious position because of health issues. But that is there everywhere, and the newspaper people are showing certain cases and making a story. Another issue is Chembilod in Kannur. There also such issues are there. Everywhere if you look at, such issues will be there. Because there is prevalence of such diseases everywhere. This is in Mogral in Kasaragod, which is a coastal Grama Panchayat, at least 15 kilometers away from Endosulfan sprayed area. Endosulfan cannot reach such a place. But there also there are issues. This is in Alappuzha, where there is higher incidence of cancer. That is what they say. This is in Kuttanad region, there is higher cancer. There are reports only. These are all reports only by people, by journalists, without looking into what is the prevalence in other areas. How do they compare? This is not written. The journalists will be just writing because in Kuttanad region there is massive pesticide use and there is cancer. They will be just making the story. Then whether aerial spray was done elsewhere in the world. Aerial spray of endosulfan was recommended by WHO for managing esSENSE disease in Africa. In Africa, under the guidance of WHO, in different states, in countries, endosulfan spraying was done aerially, and lot of studies were there, and that also shows that there are no incidence of any health issue in that area. This is in Africa. And these are the details in Africa. And the study says that insecticide for esSENSE and trypanosomiasis control is their environmental risk acceptable. It is not public health risk. It is environmental risk, they say. There is no public health risk. Then aerial spraying was done in Australia for 20 years. Like in Kasaragod, aerial spraying was done in Australia also for 20 long years. And lot of studies were conducted with regard to that, health issues. They have compared. And there was resistance from the public who were living around the cotton area. And studies were conducted and found that there are no higher prevalence of issues around the cotton belt, where in an year 7 sprays of endosulfan was done. Here in Kasaragod it was only 2 spray per year. In Australia 7 sprays were done in certain years. This is the Frager and Temperley research paper regarding that. Now there is disability census conducted by Department of Health, Government of Kerala. As per the direction of the central government, it was conducted in all the states in the country. And in Kerala, it was done in 2014 and the report came in 2015. Disability census Kerala. And if you look at the data, this census was conducted in every household. What are the mental and physical disabilities? 22 types of mental and physical disabilities were taken into consideration in the census, and found that there, and I have got the raw data. I have got the raw data from the Social Justice Directorate from Trivandrum, and then I have compared it. You can see 10 sprayed panchayats. Sprayed means there are cashew estates near to that. So I have taken the wards which are near to cashew estate in a Grama Panchayat. 48 wards in total, and the wards are away from the cashew plantation of the same village, same Grama Panchayat, but which are away. 115 Grama Panchayats I have taken and compared, away from the cashew estate and near to cashew estate in the same Grama Panchayat. So 10 Grama Panchayats were taken. Means very massive comparison. So if you 17 different types of disabilities were compared. 17 types: autism, blindness, cerebral palsy, chronic neurological disability, deaf, blindness, epilepsy, hearing impaired. All these which are ascribed to endosulfan by the expert doctors, I have compared. So if you compare, when we compare two populations, we take Z value as per statistics. The Z value is below the critical level. 1.96 is the critical value of Z, and these are all below the critical. That means there is no difference between sprayed wards as well as unsprayed wards. There are no difference statistically. So I have compared sprayed Grama Panchayat as well as unsprayed Grama Panchayat total. In certain cases there are higher incidents, in certain villages, certain Grama Panchayat there are lower incidents. That can happen, quite natural. So statistically all these are correct, same only, not different significantly. If you compare to, if you take entire Kerala, certain eye diseases are slightly higher in incidence in Wayanad. Otherwise all 22 types of disabilities they have taken, so all the same. The incidence rate, prevalence rate is same. So what is happening in Kasaragod? 5 lakh rupees for the bedridden patients. Now the Supreme Court has ordered 5 lakh rupees to all the persons which are ascribed to endosulfan. All the persons, 5 lakh, they are getting somehow constructed second floor to their building, their houses, second floor, and somehow purchased new cars, because 5 lakh they are getting. It's very good amount, no? Very good amount. So they are doing like that. In the first group of medical camps, doctors ascribed anything and everything to endosulfan. There will be cracking of the heel, no? During cold time, cracking of heel will be there. That is also ascribed to endosulfan. Everything is ascribed to endosulfan, and all these patients are getting 5 lakh rupees as per the order of the Supreme Court. All are getting. Because I have given many number of RTIs, and the government was forced to do a second group of medical camps, but they didn't do it, because then all these people will be out of the list. So the government didn't do that, and government didn't submit my research paper as well as other reports in the Supreme Court. Government didn't do it. Government should have done it, because it's public money. Public money shouldn't be done like this. So public money is spent like this, because government will get bored, and the government cannot say against it, because this is an issue. If you are saying that endosulfan didn't cause all these problems, you will be labeled as pro-corporate, anti-nature, anti-people, anti-poor. You will be naturally, you are taking the other side. So nobody can say that endosulfan is a poor fellow who didn't cause any of these things. Nobody can say. except a scientist who will be looking into these aspects data-wise and take a decision. That is what science teaches. First you conduct survey or gather data, compare with previous studies, then analyze your data, then come into inferences. That is what science says. Science should be taken for solving the issues of society. But here science is taken a backbench because scientists were not allowed to speak, and also the science that was done was not sufficient also. The NIOH as well as Calicut Medical College studies were very, very improper study. So use of science, there is a methodology. Methodology is very important tool in science, but that was not properly performed by these two set of researchers. So here you can see patients insist doctors to enroll them in endosulfan list. I will show a cartoon. The cartoon says that 10 years before there was a slight injury on my leg, and doctor, you have to include my name in the endosulfan list. I have my friend doctors in those areas working. They used to say that there is immense pressure on them to put them into the endosulfan list. Immense pressure. Once it is included, they will be getting all these sort of assistance. So people are going to doctors and to say that. And committed suicide for not finding a place in the it's quite natural. It can happen, no? It can happen. One person, Janu Nayak, he had cancer. All the cancer patients were in the list. He was omitted because he was just the other side of the border. He was not included. Then he committed suicide. It can happen. So this is what the endosulfan issue is in Kasaragod. And all the media celebrate it, all the people celebrate it, but this is the actual truth behind it if you look it scientifically. There are a lot of things to say on this, but I am just limiting my talk on because of the limitation of time. Okay, if you have any questions on this. Thank you very much.
I just want to ask your opinion about the entire story of endosulfan actually showcased how unscientific our society thinks, and so-called educated journalists or even a set of doctors. And if you look, whoever dealt with this matter had proper education, but you see a lot of logical fallacies and false arguments to prove a case which doesn't exist. So it's a very dangerous affair in society. If a bunch of journalists who can decide and politicians if they support and appeal to pity or appeal to emotion is a good way of getting public support, and cherry picking of the data. Prove what they believe to be shown outside. So this is a very dangerous situation our society is in. In this style, they can pick up any topic and make it a dangerous affair, and it can even waste the public money and affect us. So, as a group, I think you have been fighting this for several years, and how you felt? Were you feeling alone that you are fighting, or what kind of support you received from the society? Still, you are here speaking to us about what has been happening over these years. So, were you feeling lonely during all these fights, or what kind of support you received from the scientific society of our state or the entire community for this fight against all this irrational,
I have got support from Dr. Raman Kutti, who was an epidemiologist and also was the chief of the Achyuta Menon Research Center on Studies under Sri Chitra Medical College Research Institute. Ramankutti sir gave me support, but he's an academician, not an activist like me. So he's after my research paper published in Economic and Political Weekly, we have conducted a press conference in Trivandrum, which was not properly attended by much press people, and only 2 papers gave the news. Only 2 research papers, newspapers gave the news. All others have just blackened it. They didn't do anything about it. So, but I have been feeling lonely about it, feeling a feeling of failure, and I thought that finally, when the Supreme Court directed the government to give 5 lakh rupees to all the persons, the government had to spend around 400 crores of rupees for. So I thought finally, to prevent it, the government will submit my research paper into the Supreme Court because it's available publicly. But the government didn't do it. So all the time I was feeling very much frustrated and desperate, except for the support from esSENSE. esSENSE has given me opportunity to discuss it. So that way, a great opportunity I will never forget in my life.